The lone emissary. The sleek silhouette of the starship Odyssey cut through the inky blackness of space, its hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Captain Alina Reyes stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the viewscreen as Earth slowly shrank behind them. The weight of humanity's future rested squarely on her shoulders, a burden she bore with quiet determination. "Status report," Alina commanded. Her voice steadied despite the tension thrumming through her body. Lieutenant Commander Akira Tanaka's fingers danced across his console. "All systems nominal, Captain. We've cleared the solar system and are preparing for our first FTL jump." Alina nodded, allowing herself a small smile. The Odyssey represented the pinnacle of human achievement, a harmonious blend of terrestrial ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien technology. It was a marvel of engineering, yes, but it was just one ship. And that fact had the entire galactic community buzzing with speculation and concern. As if on cue, the ship's AI, Araya, materialized beside Alina. The holographic avatar flickered slightly before stabilizing into the form of a young woman with glowing circuitry patterns etched across her skin. "Captain," Araya began, her voice tinged with artificial curiosity. "I've been monitoring galactic communications. The consensus among alien civilizations is confusion regarding Earth's decision to send only one ship on this crucial mission. Many are interpreting it as a sign of weakness or lack of commitment." Alina's jaw tightened. "Let them think what they want. Araya. We know the truth." The truth. Alina's mind drifted back to the classified briefing that had changed everything. Earth's breakthrough in quantum entanglement communication had given humanity an unprecedented advantage. While the rest of the galaxy relied on faster-than-light courier ships to relay messages across vast distances, Earth could now instantaneously communicate across the cosmos. The Odyssey wasn't alone. It was the visible tip of a carefully concealed spear. "Captain," Akira interrupted her thoughts, "we're receiving a transmission from the Arcturus Confederacy. They're requesting permission to escort us to the Galactic Council headquarters." Alina raised an eyebrow. The Arcturians were known for their caution and neutrality. An escort could be a polite gesture, or a way to keep a close eye on the unpredictable humans. "Patch them through," Alina ordered. The view screen flickered, revealing the iridescent, almost translucent features of an Arcturian diplomat. Its multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer as it spoke, the ship's universal translator converting the melodic tones into English. "Greetings, Captain Rise of Earth," the Arcturian said. "I am Ambassador Xylos. We were surprised to detect only a single vessel from your world. The Galactic Council is most eager to formally welcome humanity into the interstellar community. Perhaps we could offer our assistance in guiding you to the council chambers." Alina smiled diplomatically. "Thank you for your generous offer, Ambassador Xylos. However, we have our course plotted and are quite capable of making the journey independently. We look forward to meeting with the council upon our arrival." The Arcturian's skin rippled in what Alina had learned was a sign of mild agitation. "Of course, Captain. We merely wish to ensure your safe passage. There are elements in the galaxy not as welcoming to emerging species. If you should reconsider, our offer stands." As the transmission ended, Alina turned to her first officer, Commander Diego Vargas. "Thoughts?" Diego stroked his salt and pepper beard thoughtfully. "They're nervous, Captain. One ship could be seen as overconfidence or desperation. Either way, it makes them uneasy." Alina nodded. "Exactly as intended. Araya, begin pre-jump protocols. Let's give our new galactic neighbors something to really talk about." As the Odyssey prepared for its first faster-than-light jump, Alina couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity had come so far in such a short time. First contact with the Zarkol traders had been less than a decade ago, and already Earth was poised to take its place on the galactic stage. The jump engines hummed to life, a sound that reverberated through the ship's hull. Alina gripped the arms of her command chair, her eyes fixed on the stars ahead. Jump in 3, 2, 1. Reality twisted, stars blurring into streaks of light. When the universe snapped back into focus, a new star system sprawled before them. And there, glittering against the backdrop of an azure nebula, was their first checkpoint, the Centauri way station. Position confirmed, Captain, Ekira reported. We've successfully navigated our first jump. Elena allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before focusing on the task at hand. Excellent. Hail the way station and request docking permission. Let's introduce ourselves to the neighborhood. As the Odyssey approached the massive structure, a hive of activity with ships of various designs coming and going, Elena prepared herself for the challenges ahead. The mission to integrate humanity into the galactic community would require all of her diplomatic skills, as well as the unique capabilities of her ship and crew. Little did the rest of the galaxy know, but the Odyssey carried more than just the hopes and dreams of Earth. Hidden within its advanced systems was a technological revolution that would reshape the balance of power among the stars. Elena Reyes and her crew were about to embark on a journey that would challenge everything the galaxy thought it knew about humanity, and it all began with a single ship, a lone emissary carrying the future of an entire species. As the Odyssey docked with the Centauri way station, Elena squared her shoulders and prepared to make first contact. The real adventure was just beginning. Trials in the void. The Centauri way station buzzed with activity as beings from a dozen different species hurried through its winding corridors. Captain Elena Reyes led her small delegation through the crowded thoroughfare, acutely aware of the curious and sometimes wary glances cast their way. Humans were still a novelty in this part of the galaxy. Captain, Araya's voice whispered through Elena's earpiece, I'm detecting an unusually high concentration of data traffic focused on our arrival. It seems our presence has caused quite a stir. Elena nodded almost imperceptibly. Expected, but noted. Keep monitoring and flag anything suspicious. As they approached the station's diplomatic quarter, a commotion erupted ahead. A group of towering, reptilian creatures, Draxians, if Elena's xenobiology briefings were accurate, were arguing heatedly with a pair of diminutive furry beings she didn't recognize. Insult to the Draxian Empire, one of the reptilians bellowed, its scales flushing a deep crimson. You dare to suggest we would stoop to such primitive tactics? The smaller alien stood its ground, whiskers twitching in agitation. The evidence is clear. Draxian ships have been harassing independent traders in the Omega sector for months. The Galactic Council will hear of this. Elena signaled her team to slow their approach, not wanting to get caught in the middle of an interspecies dispute. But as they tried to skirt around the confrontation, one of the Draxians noticed them. Its yellow eyes narrowed, focusing on the Earth insignia on Elena's uniform. Ah, the humans, it hissed, turning away from the smaller aliens. Come to play at galactic politics with your single ship. How quaint. Elena straightened, meeting the Draxian's gaze coolly. We're here on a mission of peace and cooperation. I'm sure the Draxian Empire shares those goals. The reptilian's tongue flicked out, tasting the air. Peace, cooperation. Pretty words from a species that thinks it can make a difference with one vessel. Tell me, human, what do you hope to accomplish here? Before Elena could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Red emergency lights bathed the corridor in an eerie glow as a computerized voice echoed overhead. Warning: unidentified vessels approaching. All personnel report to designated safe zones. This is not a drill. The diplomats scattered, the argument forgotten in the face of a potential threat. Elena tapped her communicator. Odyssey, report. Akira's voice crackled through, tense but controlled. Captain, we're detecting multiple ships dropping out of FTL. They're not responding to hails and are on an intercept course with the station. Elena's mind raced. This was supposed to be a routine stopover, a chance to refuel and make introductions before continuing to the Galactic Council. Now they were facing an unknown threat in unfamiliar territory. Battle stations, she ordered. Prepare to assist in the station's defense if necessary, and get me a secure link to Earth Command." As Elena and her team rushed back to the Odyssey, chaos erupted around them. Panicked aliens of all species clogged the corridors, pushing and shoving in their desperation to reach safety. Through it all, Elena maintained her composure, her mind already formulating strategies. Back on the bridge of the Odyssey, Elena took in the tactical display with a grim expression. A dozen sleek, predatory ships had surrounded the station, their weapons charged and ready. "Any identification on the hostiles?" she asked. Diego shook his head. "Negative, Captain. They're not matching any known configurations in our database." Elena's eyes narrowed. "AI analysis." The AI's avatar shimmered into existence, her expression uncharacteristically troubled. "Captain, the design of these ships suggests a level of technology beyond anything in our records. I'm detecting energy signatures that don't conform to known physics. We may be dealing with a previously undiscovered species." As if to confirm AI's assessment, the lead ship of the unknown fleet suddenly vanished, only to reappear seconds later directly in front of the Odyssey. "Impossible," Akira breathed. "No known form of FTL allows for jumps that precise." Elena gripped the arms of her chair. "Open a channel. All frequencies." The view screen crackled to life, revealing a being that defied easy description. It seemed to shift and flow, more energy than matter, with glowing points of light where eyes might be on a humanoid face. Inhabitants of this realm. The being's voice resonated directly in their minds, bypassing the need for translation. "Your presence has been noted. Your technology, primitive. Your conflicts, meaningless. We are the Axiom, and we have come to judge your worthiness." Elena stood, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "I am Captain Elena Reyes of Earth. We don't recognize your authority to judge us or anyone else in this sector. State your intentions clearly, or we will be forced to defend ourselves and this station." A ripple passed through the energy being. Amusement, contempt. It was impossible to tell. "Brave words from a species that sends a single ship to represent them," the Axiom replied. "Very well, human. We shall test your mettle. Survive our trials, and perhaps we will deem you worthy of continued existence." Before Elena could respond, the Odyssey shuddered violently. Alarms blared as systems began to fail across the ship. "Report," Elena shouted over the cacophony. "Captain, we're losing power." Akira yelled back. "It's like they're draining our energy directly. Weapons, shields, propulsion. Everything's going offline." Elena's mind raced. The Axiom's technology was beyond anything they had encountered. Conventional tactics would be useless. They needed to think outside the box. Way outside. "Araya." Elena called out. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Authorization raise Alpha 79 Delta." The AI's eyes widened in surprise. "Captain, are you certain? Protocol Omega is untested in real-world conditions. The risks are less than the risk of doing nothing." Elena cut her off. "Do it. Now." As Araya complied, the lights on the bridge flickered and died. For a heart-stopping moment, there was total darkness. Then, slowly, a soft blue glow began to emanate from the ship's walls, pulsing like a heartbeat. "What's happening?" Diego asked, his voice hushed in awe. Elena allowed herself a small, fierce smile. "We're revealing our trump card, Commander. The Odyssey isn't just a ship. It's a testing ground for humanity's most advanced quantum technology. We're about to show the Axiom and the rest of the galaxy what one human ship can really do." As the blue glow intensified, the Odyssey began to vibrate with newfound energy. The Axiom's energy-draining attack faltered, and for the first time, a note of uncertainty entered the alien being's mental voice. "What is this? How are you resisting?" Elena stood tall, her eyes blazing with determination. "You wanted to test us. Well, class is in session. Humanity isn't defined by the number of ships we send. It's defined by our ingenuity, our resilience, and our unwillingness to back down from a challenge. You're about to learn why you should have done your homework before picking a fight with Earth. With a thought, Alina activated the Odyssey's hidden weapon systems. Quantum entangled particles, manipulated with precision, lashed out at the Axiom fleet. The fabric of space itself seemed to ripple as the laws of physics were rewritten on a localized scale. The battle that followed would be spoken of in whispered awe across the galaxy for generations to come. One human ship, outgunned and outnumbered, standing against a foe of unimaginable power. It was a crucible of fire and energy, a test not just of technology, but of the very spirit of humanity. And as the stars themselves bore witness, Captain Alina Reyes and the crew of the Odyssey prepared to show the universe exactly why Earth had sent just one ship. The trial in the void had begun, and humanity's future hung in the balance. The gauntlet of diplomacy. The aftermath of the battle with the Axiom left the Centauri way station in a state of controlled chaos. Repair crews swarmed over damaged sections, while diplomats from a dozen species huddled in urgent conferences. At the center of it all stood the Odyssey, its hull still humming with the residual energy of its quantum defenses. Captain Alina Reyes stood before a hastily convened emergency session of the station's governing council. The chamber buzzed with a mix of awe, fear, and barely concealed resentment. Earth's representative had just demonstrated power beyond anything the gathered species had thought possible from such a young civilization. "Explain yourself, Captain," demanded Xanthrar, the Drachnid ambassador, his tendrils writhing in agitation. "You bring this Axiom threat to our doorstep, endanger our station, and then reveal weapons capable of rewriting the laws of physics. How are we to trust humanity's peaceful intentions now?" Alina took a deep breath, centering herself. This was the moment she had trained for, the delicate dance of interstellar diplomacy, where every word could tip the balance between war and peace. "Honored representatives," she began, her voice steady and clear, "I understand your concerns. The Axiom's attack was unexpected and unprecedented. We used our defensive capabilities only as a last resort to protect not just ourselves, but everyone on this station. Earth's policy has always been, and remains, one of peaceful cooperation." A murmur rippled through the assembled aliens. Alina could sense the mix of emotions: fear, curiosity, and in some cases, barely concealed envy. Ambassador Xylos of the Arcturus Confederacy raised a translucent hand. "While we appreciate Earth's intervention against the Axiom threat, surely you understand our discomfort. Your ship, the Odyssey, possesses capabilities far beyond what you claimed when requesting entry to our space. Some might see this as a deliberate deception." Alina nodded, acknowledging the point. "I understand your perspective, Ambassador. However, I ask you all to consider this. We came here in a single ship, openly and without subterfuge. If our intentions were hostile, why announce our presence at all? Why not send a fleet? Perhaps this is merely the first wave," growled Krask, the Draxian representative. "For all we know, a human armada could be waiting to pounce." Before Alina could respond, an unexpected voice cut through the rising tension. Aria's holographic form shimmered into existence beside the captain, drawing gasps from several of the alien diplomats. "If I may address the council," Aria began, her artificial voice calm and measured. "I am Aria, the artificial intelligence of the Odyssey. I can assure you with absolute certainty that there is no human armada poised to attack. Our mission is, as Captain Reyes stated, one of peace and mutual understanding." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some representatives recoiled in fear at the eye's presence, while others leaned forward in fascination. Alina silently thanked Aria for the bold move. It had shifted the conversation, if not necessarily in their favor. "Silence," boomed Xanthrar, his tendrils lashing the air. "Captain Reyes, explain this abomination. You bring a thinking machine into our midst." Alina raised her hands placatingly. "Aria is a valued member of our crew, Ambassador. On Earth, artificial intelligences are recognized as sentient beings with rights and responsibilities. She is here as a representative of her kind, just as I represent humanity. The next few hours were a whirlwind of questions, accusations, and tense negotiations. Elena and ARIA worked in tandem, addressing concerns about Earth's technology, intentions, and cultural practices. It was a delicate balancing act, demonstrating strength without appearing threatening, showing openness while safeguarding vital secrets. As the session wore on, Elena began to notice subtle shifts in the room's dynamics. The initial hostility was giving way to cautious curiosity. Even Krask, the belligerent Draxian, seemed less antagonistic, his questions taking on a more inquisitive tone. Finally, Ambassador Xylos called for a recess. As the diplomats filed out of the chamber, Elena slumped against the podium, exhaustion washing over her. "You did well, Captain." Aria's soft voice came from beside her. "My analysis suggests a 64% increase in positive sentiment towards Earth over the course of the negotiations." Elena managed a tired smile. "Thanks, Aria. But this is just the beginning. We've piqued their interest, maybe even earned some respect. Now comes the hard part, turning that into lasting alliances." As if on cue, Elena's communicator chirped. Commander Vargas's voice came through, tense and urgent. "Captain, we're picking up some strange readings from the station's power core. You might want to get back here." Elena's fatigue evaporated, replaced by a familiar surge of adrenaline. "On my way." Aria, analyze those readings and prep the quantum shield, just in case. As they hurried through the station's corridors, Elena's mind raced. Had the Axiom left some sort of trap behind? Was this an act of sabotage by one of the species threatened by Earth's sudden rise to prominence? They arrived at the Odyssey's airlock to find a small group waiting for them. Ambassador Xylos stood at the forefront, flanked by two beings Elena didn't recognize, one a shimmering, gelatinous mass, the other a towering insectoid. "Captain Reyes." Xylos began, his tone grave. "We owe you an apology and a warning. The readings your ship detected, they're a sign of something we've been tracking for centuries, something we hoped never to encounter again." The gelatinous being pulsed, and a melodious voice filled Elena's mind. "We are the Quilleri, keepers of the ancient histories. The energy signature you've detected matches that of the Void Heralds, a scourge we thought long vanquished." Elena's brow furrowed. "Void Heralds? I don't understand. What does this have to do with the Axiom?" The insectoid clicked its mandibles, its multifaceted eyes gleaming. "Everything, human. The Axiom was but a scout, a test of your defenses. The Void Heralds are awakening, and your arrival may have accelerated their plans." Phylos stepped forward, extending a hand in a gesture Elena recognized as one of alliance. "Captain, we've misjudged humanity. Your ship, your technology. They may be our only hope against what's coming. Will you stand with us?" Elena took the offered hand, her mind reeling from the implications. Earth had sent one ship to join the galactic community. Instead, they found themselves on the brink of an ancient war, with the fate of multiple civilizations hanging in the balance. "Ambassador," Elena said, her voice firm with resolve, "humanity stands ready to face this threat, but we'll need to know everything. About the Void Heralds, about the history of this conflict, and about any other secrets this station might be hiding." As the group moved to a secure briefing room, Elena couldn't help but feel a mix of dread and exhilaration. They had come seeking diplomacy and found themselves thrust into the heart of a cosmic mystery. The gauntlet of diplomacy had led them to an even greater challenge, one that would test not just the Odyssey and its crew, but the very foundations of interstellar civilization. The true trial was just beginning, and Elena Reyes, captain of Earth's lone emissary, was determined to see it through, for humanity and for the fate of the galaxy itself. Echoes of Earth. The secure briefing room hummed with tension as Captain Alina Reyes absorbed the gravity of the situation. Holograms flickered in the center of the table, depicting star charts and ancient ruins that spoke of a conflict spanning millennia. The Void Heralds, intoned Zixterra, the Kulari historian, its gelatinous form pulsing with each word, are not a single entity, but a collective consciousness that exists between dimensions. They seek to reshape our reality in their image, consuming entire civilizations in the process. Alina's mind raced, connecting dots between this new information and their encounter with the Axiom. And you believe the Axiom was some kind of advanced scout for these Void Heralds? The insectoid being, introduced as Kreeska of the Hive Concordat, clicked its mandibles in affirmation. Precisely, Captain. The Axiom are but one of many thrall races serving the Heralds. Your quantum technology seems to have disrupted their usual methods of subduing new species. This has accelerated their timetable. Before Elena could respond, Araya's holographic form materialized beside her, eyes wide with alarm. Captain, we're receiving an emergency transmission from Earth. You need to see this. With a gesture, Araya projected the message for all to see. The image of Admiral Chen, Alina's mentor and the architect of Earth's interstellar initiative, appeared. His usually composed features were etched with worry. Captain Rice, if you're receiving this, Earth is under attack. Multiple unidentified vessels have appeared in our solar system, using technology we can't comprehend. They're not responding to hails, and our defenses are barely holding. We need the Odyssey. We need you to come home. The message cut out abruptly, leaving the room in stunned silence. Alina felt her heart racing, a mixture of fear for her homeworld and frustration at being so far away when they needed her most. Ambassador Xylos broke the silence, his translucent features set in grim determination. It seems the Void Heralds have decided to strike at the heart of humanity first. Perhaps they see you as the greatest threat to their plans. Elena stood, her voice steady despite the turmoil within. We have to return to Earth immediately. The Odyssey might be the only thing capable of standing against this threat. Kreeska chittered, mandibles clacking in agitation. You cannot abandon us, Captain. The Heralds will not stop with Earth. If they gain a foothold in your system, the entire galaxy will fall. Elena's mind raced, weighing impossible choices. Earth needed them, but leaving now could doom countless other civilizations. Then, an idea began to form, audacious, perhaps even insane, but potentially their only hope. What if, Elena began slowly, we could defend Earth and strike at the heart of the Void Herald simultaneously? All eyes in the room turned to her, a mix of confusion and curiosity on alien faces. Araya. Elena continued, bring up the schematics for Project Bifrost. The AI complied, and a complex diagram of intertwining energy fields filled the air before them. This, Elena explained, is a theoretical application of our quantum entanglement technology. In essence, it would allow us to create a stable wormhole, connecting 2 points in space instantaneously. Tylos's eyes widened in understanding. You propose to open a portal between here and Earth. The energy requirements would be astronomical. Elena nodded grimly, which is why we've never attempted it before. But if we can link the Odyssey's power core with the stations and possibly draw energy from the surrounding ships, it could work. Araya chimed in, her voice tinged with excitement. My calculations show a 63% chance of success, given optimal conditions. The alien diplomats exchanged glances, a silent conversation passing between them. Finally, Zixterra spoke, its gelatinous form rippling. What you propose is dangerous, Captain. If it fails, we could lose not only Earth but this entire sector of space. And yet, the alternative is certain doom. The Quillari will support your plan. One by one, the other representatives voiced their agreement. Even Krask, the belligerent Draxian, grudgingly offered his species assistance. Elena felt a surge of hope. This was what humanity had always excelled at, uniting diverse groups, pooling resources, and achieving the impossible. "Thank you all," Elena said, her voice filled with determination. "Now let's save Earth and the galaxy." The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity. The Odyssey's crew worked tirelessly alongside alien engineers, integrating technologies that had never been meant to function together. Elena found herself in awe of the cooperation, watching species that had been at each other's throats just days ago, now working in perfect harmony. As the final preparations were made, Elena stood on the Odyssey's bridge, watching through the viewscreen as a shimmering vortex of energy began to form. The combined power of the station, the Odyssey, and a dozen alien vessels poured into the experimental device, bending the very fabric of space-time. "Portal stabilizing," Araya reported, her voice tense with concentration. "Quantum entanglement holding at 99.7% efficiency. We're ready, Captain." Elena took a deep breath, knowing that what she was about to do might very well determine the fate of not just humanity, but countless civilizations across the galaxy. "Open the portal," she commanded. "Odyssey, prepare for transit. Let's bring the fight to the Void Heralds and show them what one human ship can really do." As the Odyssey surged forward into the swirling vortex, Elena gripped her command chair. They were about to make history, or become a cautionary tale for future generations. Either way, the echoes of their actions would resonate across the cosmos for eons to come. The ship plunged into the heart of the quantum maelstrom, carrying with it the hopes of Earth and its newfound galactic allies. Whatever awaited them on the other side, Elena Reyes and her crew were ready to face it head-on. The final battle for the fate of multiple worlds was about to begin, and humanity's lone emissary would be at the forefront, leading the charge against the darkness that threatened to consume them all. Humanity's stand. The Odyssey erupted from the quantum vortex into chaos. Earth's orbital space was a maelstrom of energy weapons fire and twisted space-time. Massive otherworldly vessels, far larger than anything humanity had encountered before, loomed over the planet, their very presence seeming to warp reality around them. "Status report," Elena barked, her eyes fixed on the horrifying scene before them. "Shields holding at 92%, Akira reported, his fingers dancing across the console. "Earth's defenses are still operational, but they're barely making a dent in the Void Herald ships." Elena's mind raced, analyzing the situation. The Herald's technology was beyond anything they had prepared for, but they had one advantage: surprise. "Hera, initiate Protocol Lazarus," Elena commanded, "and open a channel to Admiral Chen." As Hera complied, the Odyssey's systems began to reconfigure. Hidden compartments opened throughout the ship, revealing banks of quantum-entangled particles, the true heart of Earth's defensive strategy. Admiral Chen's weary face appeared on the viewscreen, his eyes widening in shock. "Elena, how in the hell?" "No time to explain, Admiral," Elena cut in. "We're implementing Protocol Lazarus. I need you to transmit the activation codes to all defense platforms. Now." Understanding dawned on the Admiral's face. He nodded sharply and began issuing rapid-fire orders to someone off-screen. Elena turned to her crew, her voice ringing with authority. "This is what we've trained for. Humanity's stand begins now." Across Earth's orbit, dormant satellites and seemingly innocuous space debris suddenly sprang to life. Quantum links activated, connecting these hidden weapons platforms directly to the Odyssey's advanced systems. "Quantum network established," Araya reported. "All Earth defense systems are now under our control." Elena allowed herself a grim smile. "Let's show these Void Heralds why you don't underestimate humanity. Fire at will." The space around Earth erupted in a dazzling display of coordinated firepower. Quantum-entangled particles, guided by the Odyssey's AI, struck at the Herald ships from countless angles simultaneously. The aliens' reality-warping defenses, so effective against conventional weapons, provided little protection against attacks that seemed to originate from within their own ships. On the Odyssey's bridge, Alina watched in tense silence as the battle unfolded. The element of surprise had given them an early advantage, but the Void Heralds were quick to adapt. "Captain," Diego called out, "one of the Herald ships is breaking off. It's on an intercept course with us." Alina nodded, having expected this. "They've identified us as the linchpin. Area. Prepare for close-quarters combat." Akira. Evasive maneuvers. The Odyssey danced through space, its quantum shields flickering as they deflected energy blasts that defied known physics. Alina felt a surge of pride in her crew as they worked in perfect synchronization, human and AI alike. Suddenly, a familiar presence filled the bridge. The same energy being they had encountered at the Centauri way station. "Impossible," the Axiom's voice reverberated in their minds. "Your species is young, primitive. How can you stand against the void?" Alina stood, facing the ethereal form with defiance. "You made a crucial mistake. You judged us by our age, by our apparent limitations. But humanity's strength isn't in our technology or our numbers. It's in our adaptability, our creativity, and our unwillingness to accept defeat." As if to punctuate her words, the Odyssey unleashed a barrage of quantum-guided missiles. They phased in and out of reality, bypassing the Herald ship's defenses to strike at its core. The Axiom's form flickered, its confidence wavering. "What are you?" "We're human," Alina declared, her voice filled with pride and determination. "We're the species that sends a single ship not out of weakness, but because that's all we need. We're the ones who turn disadvantages into strengths, who forge alliances in the face of overwhelming odds." Across the battlefield, the tide was turning. Earth's coordinated defense, led by the Odyssey, was pushing the Void Heralds back. The alien ships, for all their advanced technology, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned by a strategy they couldn't have anticipated. "Captain," Araya's voice cut through the chaos, "I'm detecting a massive energy buildup in the lead Herald vessel. They appear to be attempting to tear open a rift in space-time, possibly to summon reinforcements." Alina's eyes narrowed. This was the moment everything hinged on. Initiate final phase of Protocol Lazarus. All power to the quantum core. The Odyssey's engines flared brightly as it accelerated towards the massive rift forming in space. Energy arced between the human ship and the network of defense platforms, forming a web of quantum entanglement that encompassed the entire battlefield. "What are you doing?" the Axiom demanded, its mental voice tinged with fear for the first time. Alina's grip tightened on her command chair. "We're rewriting the rules of engagement. Area. Now." In a blinding flash of light, the Odyssey and the entire quantum network vanished. For a heartbeat, space itself seemed to hold its breath. Then reality shuddered. The Odyssey reappeared, but it was changed. The ship now pulsed with energy, its form shifting and adapting moment by moment. And it wasn't alone. Countless versions of the Odyssey, pulled from parallel timelines, filled the space around Earth. "Impossible," the Axiom whispered. Alina stood at the center of it all, her consciousness expanded, connected to every version of her ship and crew across the multiverse. "You thought one ship was a sign of weakness," she said, her voice echoing across time and space. "But we never needed a fleet. We just needed one ship, and the infinite potential it represented." The army of Odysseys moved as one, their weapons fire guided by a single unified purpose. The Void Herald ships, caught off guard by this manipulation of quantum realities, found themselves overwhelmed. In the span of minutes, the tide of battle shifted decisively. The remaining Herald ships, faced with an enemy they could neither predict nor overcome, began to retreat. The rift they had torn in space collapsed, sealing them off from whatever reinforcements they had hoped to summon. As the last of the Void Heralds vanished from Earth's skies, a cheer went up from every ship, station, and planet that had witnessed the battle. Humanity had not only defended itself, but had struck a decisive blow against a threat to the entire galaxy. The ethereal form of the Axiom lingered on the Odyssey's bridge, its energy dimmed and fluctuating. "We underestimated you, humans. The Void Heralds have never been defeated like this." Alina, her consciousness slowly returning to normal as the parallel Odysseys faded back to their own timelines, faced the alien entity. "Remember this moment," she said firmly. "Humanity is more than willing to extend friendship to those who come in peace, but we will always stand against those who threaten our home or our allies." As the Axiom's form dissipated, Alina turned to her crew. Their faces showed exhaustion, but also pride and wonder at what they had accomplished. "Send word to the Centauri way station," Alina ordered, a smile finally breaking through her composed exterior. Tell them that humanity stands ready to take its place in the galactic community, as equals, as allies, and as defenders against any threat that dares to challenge our collective future." As the Odyssey moved to take up a defensive position above Earth, the Lenarites looked out at the stars. They had come so far, faced impossible odds, and emerged victorious. Earth had sent one ship, and that one ship had changed the course of galactic history. The adventure was far from over. There would be diplomatic challenges ahead, technological frontiers to explore, and perhaps even new threats to face. But Alina knew one thing for certain. Humanity was ready for whatever the universe had in store. After all, they were the species that had stood against the void with a single ship, and they were just getting started. The end.